On the 22nd of October 2020, CIMA launched their revolutionary CIMA Finance Leadership Program. My good friend over at Instagram, Aram Abra, asked me if I could do a comparison video to compare the new Finance Leadership Program with the traditional exam route of CIMA. And I told him, mate, what a fantastic idea. I'll do that this weekend. So we're here right now to film that video. Just a disclaimer before I go ahead with this video. Unfortunately, the CIMA Finance Leadership Program is not yet available in the UK, South Africa or China. However, the website does say that CIMA students will be notified when the CIMA Finance Leadership Program is available within these regions. I do recommend that you stick around and watch the remainder of this video because it is a fantastic route that you can go down in order to achieve your full CGMA designation. Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is CRAIGO. I'm a fully qualified chartered management accountant and I am here to spread my learnings to you. So today we are going to be taking a look at the brand new revolutionary finance leadership program, which offers you an alternative to the traditional CIMA exam route for becoming and obtaining that CGMA designation. So I'm just going to pop up here the agenda of today's video of everything that we will be running through with this comparison. So just to start with, we are going to roll the CIMA intro video, and then from there we will go and I will conduct my analysis on the CIMA Financial Leadership Program.
In uncertain times, it can be hard to imagine yourself completing the CIMA professional qualification. But with our new digital-first learning and assessment platform, you can. The CGMA Finance Leadership Program, or FLP, gives you control over your study progress. The CGMA FLP is a remote-based, self-paced learning platform that lets you qualify from home with online assessments and study support. Start from where you are in your CIMA studies. Unlike the traditional program, you don't have to go to classes in person. All assessments and case study exam preparations take place within the comprehensive online CGMA FLP platform. Choose from 1, 2 or 3-year subscription options. Contact us to enroll or learn more about the CGMA FLP today.
So you've seen the video. I'm now just going to run through a short article and highlight the key elements of this article that I found on the CIMA website. So first of all, why should you choose the CGMA Leadership Program? Well, it will teach you the skills that 2,000 finance teams have identified as critical within your career. Finance professionals created it for the finance professional. Learn in your own time at your own pace. It was designed from scratch for working professionals. Everything is online, including most of the exams. You can study when you want, wherever you want, and even learn the topics in whatever order you like. The CGMA Finance Leadership Program builds on your background, so you can start the program at whatever point is right for you. You can expect to pay between $2,500 and $5,000 depending on how long it takes you to complete the program. And as we can see, the CIMA Finance Leadership Program gets you to the same end goal as the exam route. And you will get the same designation as if you went through the traditional exam pathway. So now we're going to go on to the comparison of the CIMA Finance Leadership Program versus the CIMA traditional exam route. I have found quite a simple and easy to understand PDF on the CIMA's website which has a comparison of the two, and therefore I'm going to be using this as a basis for today's analysis. So as you can see, the traditional exam route is on the left hand side of this PDF document and the new Finance Leadership Program is on the right. Standards. Both pathways are founded on the CGMA framework, which means both options, the CIMA Leadership Program and the exam route, examine you on the same areas and will give you the same skills that you need in the pathway to become a full CGMA. What I would say here is there is no option that you shouldn't be choosing one over the other. If you are purely looking at the intended learning outcomes, you should have the same knowledge whether you sit the exams or go through the Finance Leadership Program. Next point, study methods. And this is the area where I strongly believe the Finance Leadership Program is revolutionary and may appeal to some people or some students more than others. It is entirely online. It is self-paced, which means you are in control of the pace at which you go through the CIMA syllabus. And the online learning program will give you the full material that you need to learn in order to complete and move through the assessments as part of the FLP program. And it gives those the opportunity who aren't necessarily good at exams to work in a simulated environment where they can utilize their real life skills into tackling business simulation, but while also learning the skills and doing it at their own time. For some people, just being able to rock up to an exam for an hour and a half and produce the goods to pass that exam is difficult. So giving students the opportunity to pass those elements of the syllabus in their own time, I can see as a great alternative for anyone who wants to become a CGMA. Now that's where we touch on the assessment element, which is where another area where the FLP program may be suited to a certain individual over another. So for me, I certainly would not be going down the FLP route. I like the pressure of having to study towards your exam, turning up on the day and it all being over within 1.5 hours. I'll be honest, I don't smash exams, but what I do is whenever I have an exam, I'm prepared. And I had a couple of my CIMA exams where I got 100 marks, 101 marks. My highest exam, I think, was about 116 marks. I did not smash any of my exams, but because I was consistent, because I was motivated, and I had the momentum behind me, I was able to pass all of my exams. And I've always had confidence in myself that I can do enough. But I'm aware there are students out there that won't. And that's where the FLP will be better for you. You won't have that pressure of going into exam room on one day in 1.5 hours and having to score the desired amount of marks in order for you to pass your exam. My understanding is that you will be able to sit module by module, and it will enable you to just essentially keep the clock ticking and working through all the assessments and the pre-assessments at your own pace, without the pressure of having to sit a full syllabus and a full exam. And here in the UK, I want to liken this to the A-level and the BTEC business routes that we could have done at our A-level before going into our university degree. The A-level is for those that prefer the exam route, much like the CIMA traditional exam pathway. The BTEC route was just like the CIMA Finance Leadership Program. It was more practical. It was more about simulation, practical experience, taking part in activities rather than simply learning theory and passing an exam. And for some people, they will prefer that method of learning. And if that is you, then I strongly recommend you probably go down the CIMA Financial Leadership Pathway route. And then you also have the opportunity to skip parts of the learning that you already have the knowledge of. So you will be given pre-assessments before each part of the CIMA syllabus. And if you can demonstrate that you know that area already, then you will not have to go ahead and learn, meaning that you can shorten the time that it takes for you to pass your exams. Likewise, in the exam pathway, you will have exemptions, but because the exemptions are done on a full exam basis, unless you can demonstrate every competency in each exam, then you will not get the exemption. Whereas what it appears like in the CIMA Finance Leadership Program, that if you can demonstrate certain areas of knowledge within certain modules, even if it doesn't cover the full syllabus for, let's say, the equivalent of the E1 exam, then you may even have an exemption and may not be required to learn half of the E exam, meaning that you only have to learn the other half of the exam. Whereas if you'd taken the exam route, you wouldn't have got the exemption and you would have had to have sat the full exam. The case study exams are a critical point of the CIMA qualification, and with each pathway you will have to sit 3 case study exams. So there is no benefit to studying any or either or when it comes to whether or not you have to sit the case study exams. But what I would suggest is the case study exams are very much focused on business simulation. So it could actually be beneficial that you sit the finance leadership program. However, what I would say, you're going to have a lack of exam practice for the exam day. And these case study exams, if you do sit the finance leadership program, could be pretty tough. Whereas those who have sat objective tests will know what it's like to sit exams and could well be slightly better prepared than those who have sat the finance leadership program. So then we're going to shoot straight down to the practical experience requirement, and just like the CIMA case studies, the practical experience requirements are exactly the same. Regardless of what pathway that you choose, you will need to show and demonstrate core competencies that you've picked up within your full-time job and the practical work experience that you have gained. So again, and when it comes to which pathway you should choose, it doesn't really matter. You will just need to ensure that your practical experience meets the CIMA practical experience requirements and competencies as set out by the process. And then, like I've touched on earlier on this video, both pathways will give you the same CIMA designation holder. So either or, you're going to end up with the same qualification, which means there is no one better pathway for you. In my opinion, I'm going to touch on it again, it all depends on whatever way you learn best. And then last but not least, the CIMA fees. So whereas with the traditional exam route, you will pay an exam fee and you will probably pay for a tuition provider. This tuition provider, based on experience, can be anywhere between about £300 to about £2,000, depending on whether you choose face-to-face learning or at-home distance learning and what stage of the qualification you are. If I look at my total qualification, it took me and cost my company £12,000 for me to become fully qualified. Now, if we compare that to the Finance Leadership Programme, where they have a 1, 2 or 3 year subscription, please note this needs to be paid all up front before you study and start studying for your CIMA qualification. According to the CIMA website, a 1 year subscription for their CIMA Financial Leadership Programme will cost you £1,995, 2 year will cost you £2,995, and 3 years will cost you £3,995. Now, the level at which you enter will all depend on the exemptions that you get. So if you are at the operational level, then you will need a 3 year subscription. If you are at the management level, you will need a 2 year subscription. And if you are at the strategic level, then you will need a 1 year subscription. Just like the standard exam route, you will need to go through the exemption process, which I have a video gone live up here. And then once you have been awarded your exemptions, you will then know which level of the syllabus that you need to start at. And then the final part of this video that I want to touch on are the options for existing CIMA students. So let's say you're already studying towards your CIMA qualification on the exam route and you want to swap. Well, according to CIMA, you can swap and will enable you to go straight in and start at the level of the Financial Leadership Programme that you are within the exam route. And I believe this is great news for anybody who's studying CIMA before the date that it was launched in 2020, who would now like to adapt to a different method of learning. And I strongly recommend that you take a look at the Financial Leadership Programme in a bit more depth and really identify whether it would be a better route for you over the exam route. And if it is, then I thoroughly recommend that you start having conversations with CIMA so that you can switch between the exam route and the CIMA Finance Leadership Programme. But that is all from me today. I really hope you found that video useful. Until the next one, I'll see you all again soon. Goodbye.